This morning, while driving through the parking lot of my apartment complex, a car was backing up toward my left side. I honked several times to attract the attention. Eventually it hit my car. I stopped and got out to see the damage. A woman came from the other car apologizing. I glanced at the place in my car where she hit it and saw a scratch. Without thinking it over, I told her don't worry about it, sat in my car and was on my way of doing my morning chores. And it's a funny thing because when I was driving after this accident, my mind started creating simulations. And I was thinking, what the hell was doing that? Because there's nothing, just a tiny scratch. But my mind has to do the simulation to understand if my body did everything correctly. Because what happened was just several seconds. I stopped the car, I get out of the car, I look at the damage, assess this damage very quick because there was no damage and it wasn't worth it to do anything about it. I told this woman not to worry about it and I'm on my way without thinking. And it's funny because my mind was keep projecting the simulation again and again and again and again. And first my body started nervous when I was driving because my mind projecting those simulations didn't have enough words to vocalize, to understand what it was trying to do, because even my mind, it doesn't know why it was doing what it was doing. It was just kind of emotions that was kind of tried to be formed into some comprehensible story to see if everything was managed properly. And I was thinking about it. It was quite fascinating to observe this work from a different perspective, because before, when it happened, I usually try to suppress it and stop thinking about it. Of course, it's never worked. You will think about it again and again and again and again until it would be completely resolved. And what mind does, in some sense, in this case, you create your own personal prosecutor. That's what I felt today, because my body did something, right? It made decision very quick while my mind was half second behind. And when my mind catch up with that, it start prosecuting my body. It start investigating my body. It start to understand, okay, how much correct things my body managed to do and how much incorrect things. And for that, my mind has to make, in some sense, simulations, because my mind doesn't have eyes. It perceives my body and everything around it through sensations my body gives to my mind. That's how I felt today, because in some sense it's like it's perceived the world through the tokens that my body gives to my mind. And it's tried to recreate such an understanding, not visual, maybe even emotional understanding of the situation that happened. And when it started recreating this emotional visualization, it didn't have yet vocabulary. It took some time to reach for right vocabulary. And then when it reached for right vocabulary, it started creating a story. And more vocabulary, more comprehensive story, it became created. And then start playing the story again and again and again and again. I have to relive the story, because my mind tried to understand, is my body handle this well or not, and what can be corrected in the future. And I was thinking about, after that, we have to learn to practice our body and our mind. They need to work united, because they are the whole, only one. And how you practice your body, you practice it through exercises. Because the more you practice your body, the more you do exercises, the better your body reacts on unexpected situations. That's why I work out every day, because it helps me to preserve coolness. Also, it's an interesting fact about bodies, right? Because I see people and people see me with their bodies first. Because that's what means first impression. Because when people see me, they see me the way I walk, the way I behave. And if you, for example, have this confidence and you walk without awareness of this confidence, people feel it. And people treat you differently because they perceive, it seems like the body has their own eyes, their own senses. So when people see you, for example, they see you with their body, and you see them with your body as well. That's the first impression, because that's how you actually being perceived by other people. And that's how I've been perceived by other people, and that's how I perceive other people. Often when I look at somebody, I don't know why I like or dislike this person right away. I just do, because that's what my body does. It's look at the person, look at this person walk, this person, the way how it behaves, body language, for example, and then it's assume if it likes or dislikes this person or doesn't care about this person at all. That's why workout is necessary, because you create such a confidence about yourself and through your body movement. And then you have to train your mind. Why? Because you need to be able to give your mind vocabulary. That's what I'm trying to do. I try to read a lot of great works, because those great works give me right vocabulary to understand the environment, to understand myself. And when I understand myself in environment, when something unexpected happened, I have vocabulary for my mind to use to assess how my body handled this situation. Because as far as I remember myself, I couldn't never explain this before, but I started realizing this, that my mind always was the prosecutor of my body. Whatever happened in my life, right, I responded such in a way. And then my mind created this court almost, where it forced my body to defend itself. Why did you do the way you do this? Maybe you shouldn't handle this different way. Because I think many of us are aware of those thoughts that, like, I should have behaved differently. But today I was thinking about what exactly tells me I should have done this differently, or I should do this, or I should have do that. That's what I feel like. It's kind of like a mind try to prosecute your body, try to force your body to defend. Okay, do you have defend? And for this you have to exercise your mind through reading books, through study philosophy, because it helps you with the right vocabulary. Because right vocabulary is all that matters for the mind. Because first what mind does, it start feeling through the senses. The body sends senses to the mind, and the mind take the senses and start converting those senses into emotions, and those emotions into words. And through those words, it start writing the story, the simulations that it try to project one upon another and see what next time can be done better. I think, like, if you think about hit and run situation, right? I think some people who do hit and run, they in some sense don't listen their mind, don't listen their common sense, they just follow the body. And the body first reaction is to be scared, especially if the person is drunk or something. They cannot be in control of their own faculty, on their own intellectual faculty of their own mind. And what they do, they accelerate the gas and draw away rapidly, and then their mind in panic, because their mind couldn't stop, don't have enough, for example, mental, or not mental, it doesn't have enough power to slam the brakes. And such consequences become incredibly expensive, because if you have hit and run and something really serious happen, you can go to jail for a long time. That's what your mind sometimes terrifies of your body. That's what I think, because before I thought maybe my mind catastrophized it, maybe it shouldn't catastrophize that because nothing actually happened. But my mind doesn't know, because something happened. And my mind tried to assess. It's really hard to assess, because it's somewhere inside and outside the body. It's a part and not a part of the body. It's something that on its own almost. And it's trying to understand through almost like my mind understand the environment through I call it now almost senses, that my body create the senses. It's like a tokens. Like when you feed AI tokens, right, for information, like to process information. The same happened with my body, because it sends senses to my mind. It's kind of like tokens, and my mind tried to work with those tokens. It's very expensive. That's why my body feel nervousness, because there's some decision forming inside of my mind. And this decision is incredibly important, because it in some sense affect the way of how I'm going to feel. Because I think everybody have the situation when their mind keep going back and forth and couldn't make a decision if what body did was right or wrong. Because certain situation happen in our life, sometimes very serious, and the first reaction is the body reaction, because the body try to protect itself. But then, even for example, even somebody attacking you and you self-defend yourself, right? Even if your self-defense justifiable before the law, I feel like sometimes I have this mind as a prosecutor. You have to justify not only to your communities that you did everything right, but also you have to justify to your own mind if your body made the right decision in doing so. That's, I think, because I understood only this today. It was kind of fascinating while writing about this situation. It's like nothing. It's really nothing. Before, for example, when something like this happened, I just tried to suppress it. Just tried to suppress it, not to think about it. But it never worked, because it's like if somebody tells you don't think about white bear, of course you're going to think about white bear all the time. But in the same way, what I was doing with myself when something happened and I want to resolve it right away. And you cannot resolve such things right away. You have to give it time and see what happened. And if nothing happened, but your mind keep driving the circles around and around and around and around and exhausting you with this. And today, for the first time, when I started writing about it, suddenly a realization came that it's a normal part of mind, because my mind should be able to identify how my body behaved in certain situations. And for example, today my mind decided that my body behaved well. There's no mistakes, but it's need time to investigate. And this investigation feels like some sort of almost emotional devastation, this nervousness, because your mind tried to do this again and again, creating the simulation, tried to assess. It's quite fascinating. And again, I'm reporting from my own personal experience, because I'm not a psychologist. I'm just curious. When something happened like this, I try to understand from my personal experience. Whether it's right for somebody else or wrong, I don't know. It's my subjective experience, and for me it was right. And when I find an explanation like this, it helps me to understand more of myself, and through myself, it helps me to understand the world. Because, I live among people. And situation like this is going to happen again and again and again and again. Even if I'm careful, other people might not be careful. And you're going to have such a confrontation with people, small or big. So it depends sometimes. And to be able to react properly on those confrontation, I think I have to be able to understand my mind and my body and how they communicate with each other. Because I love Stoics. And Stoics, they have this argument that it's about your attitude toward uncontrollable world of the outside, because I cannot control the world outside. I don't know what can happen every time when I go outside, but I can control my attitude toward the world outside. And to prevent my mind going this circle of hell constantly, I have to understand, okay, that's normal that my mind does this, because it tried to assess if my body did the right thing. It seems okay. This way, when I think this way, it helps me to normalize certain quirks from my mind. Sometimes it goes overboard, but I think it's normal too, because it's trying to figure things out. And today I've got this idea. I even don't know, for example, how exactly mind perceive, because like I see the world through my eyes, right? And my visual cortex construct the picture, but mind is the part of me that understand the world through the senses that my body gives it. Because I don't think mind can perceive the way my body perceive or my eyes perceive. I think mind's something different. And I think perception, the way mind perceives itself and the world and the body, is quite different, more like through this certain feeling, through certain I don't know how to explain this. It's so interesting. I think it's through certain senses that my body keeps sending it. Because what makes me self-aware is my mind, right? And my mind perceives the self-awareness through the senses. It seems like my body sent a lot of senses to my mind, and my mind construct self-awareness out of those senses. Because it's like when you communicate with artificial intelligence, you send information to artificial intelligence, and in some sense it tries to understand you through the words that it converts into numbers. And then through these numbers, it tries to understand what are you and how to respond to you properly. Maybe our mind is something similar, because what happened is my body tried to send certain senses, the senses transform into emotions, and then my mind try to organize those emotions into some comprehensible picture of me and the world. And then it tried to help my body with those assessment, like you can say like second opinion. Because body reacts first, and then mind. And I think mind is just our second opinion. And that's why we need to learn how to practice to be human. Because to be human, it's not only body, it's mind as well. And when my mind and my body collaborate with each other and work along with each other, of course there's facts that my mind is half second behind of my body. But nevertheless, when they learn to work with each other well, my life becoming much more productive because I can focus on the goal and go toward this goal without being distracted by my mind, just because my mind keep mulling over things that my body did without making a decision if those things were correct or not. And to be able for my mind to make those decisions faster, I have to be able to trust my body and my mind at the same times. And how I can do this, I have to train them both. I have to train my body, be more confident about what it's doing through working out, through exercising, through physical activities. And also I have to train my mind to be fast in judgment. How? I have to help my mind through practice by reading some great works of art like philosophy or religion, try to give mind enough vocabulary, enough ideas to be able to map my body in a much proper way and then map the world around me in a much proper way, because I think we're not just a body and we're also not just a mind. We both, and when those both entities collaborate with each other, my life become much more sufficient